Okay, table 6-3 are the neck muscles, and these are muscles that are deep. So we're deep to the platysma, so I'm going to hide my platysma. And our first muscle is this big, huge muscle in the front of your neck. So you can see, I don't know, maybe you can. Oh, there, it's this muscle right here. And that is this sternocleidomastoid, and the name pretty much tells you all of its attachments. So we have origins on the sternal end of the clavicle, on the manubrium. You can see that there's almost two heads here. And our insertion is going to be on the mastoid process back here. So you see that this muscle runs at a diagonal across the neck. So that's going to leave it with a very interesting action. So when this muscle, when one side contracts, and from this point on, we're going to be talking about one side versus both sides. If both sides contract, it's going to cause a different action. So you need to specify whether this is one side or both sides, because you're going to have two different actions. So if one side of the sternocleidomastoid flexes, it's going to have a contralateral rotation. So if my right sternocleidomastoid muscle contracts, my head is going to move to the left. Again, that is if one side of the sternocleidomastoid contracts. If both sides of the sternocleidomastoid contract, I'm going to have a flexion of my cervical spine. So my neck will come down. So again, remember to specify one side or both sides. The sternocleidomastoid also, if one side contracts, it can laterally flex the neck as well. So if one side contracts, it can laterally flex the neck, or it can contralaterally rotate the head to the opposite side. Okay, then we have two neck muscles that are deep in the back. So I'm going to remove some of these muscles here. I'm going to do it this way. And we have the splenius capitis and the splenius cervicis. So I'm going to hide our sternocleidomastoid. So the origin for the splenius capitis, goodness, let me hide these two. Who knew it'd be this hard? So we've accomplished the fact that they are deep. So the splenius capitis has its origin on the ligamentum nuchae, as well as the spinous processes of C7 to T3. And then its point of origin is going to be both on the occipital bone and on the mastoid process. So it does cross the neck joint. And then the splenius cervicis, its origins are different, but it's going to assist the splenius capitis in the same movement. But the point of origin for the splenius cervicis is on the it's on the spinous processes of T3 to T6. And then its origin, its insertion is up on C1 and C2. So let me isolate it here. And you can see where its insertion is on C1 and C2. So when these muscles contract, like I said, the two muscles have the same action. So when one side contracts, it's going to ipsilaterally rotate my head. So it will, if my right side contracts, my head will rotate to the right side. So as opposed to the sternocleidomastoid where it was contralateral, where if my right side contracts, my head moves to the left. So if both sides contract, since they're in the back of my head, they're going to bring my head from a flex position to an extended position, and even hyperextension. Okay, so again, get in the habit of saying one side versus both sides because you're being held responsible for both actions.